Alright. Good afternoon. This video documentation is with regards to the E30 headlights. It's my understanding that you actually have the angel eye issue and also a low beam xenon HID issue. Now this video is going to essentially separate the two issues since they are separate and need to kind of be tested separately and also resolved separately. Now the first one we're actually going to be touching on is actually going to be the low beam xenon HID issue. Now you did indicate that one side will kind of flicker and kind of have issues like that. Now in order to identify kind of what's going on and the real culprit behind that, it's kind of necessary to understand how that all works. So essentially this will be your setup on the vehicle, and we've kind of laid it out like in a real kind of simple method on the table. Now each side for your xenon setup is actually going to have a bulb and a ballast, and this will be on both sides. So as you can see, we got the bulbs hooked up right here. You'll actually have a cap right here, so it'll look a little different, but we've done this for the sake of simplicity. And you'll also have the ballasts at the back right here. Now in order to really narrow down what the cause of the issue is, what we're going to go ahead and do is switch one of the components. And in this case, and probably in your case as well, the easier component to switch is actually going to be the ballast. And that's what we're going to go ahead and do in this case. So in this case, we're going to imagine that this is the side that's flickering. And so this side is flickering, and we're going to actually go ahead and disconnect the ballast from this side, take it over to this side, and then disconnect this ballast and take it to this side. Now on your end, you'd also have a connector right here likely, and a couple other ones, but ideally the idea is the same. You're switching the ballast to the side that it wasn't at before. Now as you can see right here, we're going to go ahead and hook up the ballast again and go ahead and do this for the other side as well. And once everything's fine and hooked up right here, what we would go ahead and do would actually be to turn on the low beams again. Now this will be the important part of the test, because this will really tell us where the issue is. Now if we turn on the low beam and this side is still flickering, that tells us that this bulb is the issue, and we'll be glad to go ahead and get that replaced for you. No problem. We'll walk you through all the steps and get that taken care of for you. However, if you turn on the low beams again after switching the components, and now the problem is on this side, that lets you know that this ballast is actually the cause of the issue, and we'll also be glad to work with you and get that replaced for you under warranty, as you are entitled to. So that will essentially sum up the cross-referencing test that will need to be done for the low beam issue. Now moving on to the angel eyes issue, this is actually going to be tested in a different location. All this stuff will be really taken out of the equation, because what we're going to be looking at is all these wires coming from the headlights. There's going to be two sets of red and black wires ending in a connector like this, and the same for the other side as well. Now you said one angel eye side is out for the entire headlight, so both rings are out. We're going to go ahead and pretend again that's this headlight. Now if that's the case, we're going to want to look at this connection right here, because essentially on your vehicle this connection will actually tap to somewhere. There will be a connection that either your installer made, where this is actually connected to some other wires, and this may even be cut off on your setup depending upon how your installer set it up, but these wires will be connected to some other wires to draw power. If these wires do not get power, these angel eye rings will not light up, and so that's essentially the issue right here. Now there's a couple different ways your installer could have set it up, so in order to kind of better walk you through it, we'll actually have you provide more photos and or video documentation, whatever helps the best. But we'll essentially from there be able to walk you through where the issue is and how to get that resolved for you. Now again, I can't stress that enough, our focus for the angel eye issue will be on these wires. Now it may also be the case, because there was an included harness with your angel eye setup, your installer may or may not have used this. It'll change a little bit how everything's set up, but this is still real simple setup, and we can also guide you through to where the power would be drawn for that. But again, like I'm mentioning, this will be really the focus of what we're trying to do right here. Now that will kind of conclude that at this point. We'll be touching base with you to really figure out where these are connected to, because that will let us know where the issue lies and how it can be resolved. Thank you very much.